Can you smell it? It's the smell of the mustache, gunpowder, and partying. Yes, that's right. We are playing Napoleon Total War with an epic 4v4 battle on the grassy flatlands map, just because I didn't want to really. This is a pretty smooth map, and it already lagged out a lot. Like, there's a lot of like the screen froze a lot, and that was for everyone. So I hosted this battle, so that's why I chose the grassy flatlands map, just to try and keep it as smooth as possible. But I will be teaming up with the French. We can go ahead and time warp a little bit. The British and the Austrians, and I'm the British myself. And really, we'll do like a slower time warp. When we were going into this battle, our plan was really to like sit back and kind of skirmish them with our artillery, because we had the advantage of artillery. We had more artillery than them. I did have a rule that was max 6 light, but the Austrians didn't seem to really care, and they brought only lights. They do have artillery, but they have no cav except the general, and only no line infantry. They just have lights. So we'll hope and we'll see what happens. Now, I did already record this video, but something messed up with my recorder, my screen Bandicam. Something messed up with it, and it recorded at 120p, so it was just like 3 pixels basically. Maybe there was a red pixel sometimes. There was a red, green, and blue pixel basically. That was the screen. So I'm gonna re-record it now that I fixed that problem. We can go ahead and do normal speed, and instantly I'm forming farther to the right. I do have this formation that I kind of regret, with 3 cav on this side and 1 cav on this side, but this battle was a battle to end all battles. This was a very intense battle. It required a lot of micro, a lot of it required heavy focus, nice volley of rockets. You couldn't really just sit back. Now, my allies and they kind of do sit back. I play pretty aggressive, but the main reason that they do that is because our plan, like I said, was to have heavy artillery and defeat them. But that was kind of my plan a little bit. I kind of helped shape it into an actual plan that we could use. But I didn't bring any artillery, and the main reason was, you could see right there, and he gets a nice hit on my cav. I didn't want to sit back and skirmish. I wanted this to be an aggressive battle, but I knew my teammates would already bring a lot of artillery, so I saw no point in bringing even more artillery, because I didn't want to just have a real slow and grindy battle. That's also why I put a 60-minute timer. I have 3 units of rifles, 1 unit of King German Legion Lightfoot, just as the reason I have this one King German Legion Lightfoot instead of more rifles was mainly just because I couldn't afford more rifles, and these guys, they do have bayonets and the rifles don't, which is good because we do If there's a cav charge, I at least want to have some unit of bayonets to be in the front of the charge, and not it just being rifles. It looks like they have 2 barrels on their guns. Anyways, I'm kind of... He tries to general snipe a little bit, which I find kind of unhonorable. I don't think I would general snipe. I think I would focus the infantry, or I would focus the cav and enemy artillery. That's what I would do with my artillery, and my allies are doing that. They are using their artillery for that. But this battle isn't going to come down to artillery. It's going to come down to whether or not... Really, this battle is down to the Austrians. Can the Prussians defeat the Austrians? Or if the Austrians defeat the Prussians... Well, I realize that sounds really obvious. But, I mean, look at the balance of... This is a glitch. But it is kind of true because we brought a lot of artillery. My allies... Great Britain did only bring, let's see. They did only bring horse artillery. But the French brought 12-pounder foot artillery and Grand Battery of the Convention. This is just like the super elite artillery, and it has 8 cannons. And the Austrians brought 3 12-pounder foot artillery, so we have heavy artillery. Now they also have a lot of artillery. They do have rockets. I did ban rockets again, but they didn't listen. I also banned unicorns, but nobody played as Russia. You can see here, big mistake by me not running my troops. I walked them, and that bought enough time for the artillery to take out a lot of them. And the French saw this coming. You can see he fell back his lights, and now they're hidden. I was trying to charge his lights. He also has spikes right here. And then his lights appear out of nowhere. And now they're able to fire. And I realized that they were there because I didn't see them. He had lights right here. I was trying to charge his artillery and the lights right there, but they managed to set up stakes. And then these lights came out of nowhere. So my cav was already in range, and I tried to turn them around, but it was too late. Over here, we do have some Prussians pushing up. He's got some hussars, a lot of lights, and he does have some infantry. I don't really know what he's doing here. I think he should probably just stay back, honestly. Because there's no point with the cav. Because he's got so many stakes. Like, he's got stakes everywhere. And there's also... He's not going to be able to out-skirmish them. He doesn't need to use lights. He needs to use his infantry. He has a solid force of infantry. If he could use the lights in the front to try and, like, soak up the artillery. But he needs to move more infantry up and not just some grenadiers, some elites, and some musketeers. He needs to have all his infantry in the fight. And I was telling my allies to shoot at this French clump, because look at this. Imagine a cannonball from that side that went like that. Like, imagine 8 cannonballs that did that. That would be amazing. Like, that would be amazing for our army, because we'd just really just crush this force. Like, this is mid to high tier infantry. Like, it's just the better lights, the chasseur, and some old guard and fusiliers, which are like mid-tier infantry. He is pushing up pretty aggressively. Right here, I'm not going to push my infantry up anymore, because there's no real reason to. If he wants to target my rifles, he can, because they're in a light formation, which means the cannonballs aren't going to deal that much damage, because they're like spread out more instead of here. So I don't want him to be able to, instead of like this, a cannonball is going to do more damage here. So there's no need for me to clump up my troops like that just for him to be able to, get a hit maybe even on my lights and on my infantry. So I'm just gonna put my lights in the front and try and get him to shoot at them. And I saw this like from a mile away. I saw this when he just started to move his cav over. But we'll get on that later. We do have the beginning of the fight. His lights are about to fire. There they go. He's got a cannon fire. We do have some rockets coming in. That's pretty, like, kind of glorious to have the rockets in the background over there and over here. But the British, a nice move by the British, surrounded them. And I told the British he needs to send line infantry over here to support the Austrians, which he did. But the Prussians, the way they needed to win this was line infantry. The way they do need to win this is line infantry. But it's a little bit late now that they've, like, they're staggering. But they still can win this. It's not over for them. They just have played a little bit carelessly. British. This is my British ally. This isn't me. Yeah, you can see the balance of power is bugged out. It's not really like that. He did try to charge some cav into the British, but they were well prepared. Or he did rout, oh no. The Lightfoot survived. So, pretty bad charge there. He did manage to silence the British, but the British still held off. You can see I'm just kind of holding here. Nothing's really happening in the center, but on this side, the British are forming up right here. Now the stakes are kind of blocking the canister shot. You can see like it's going over the heads of the troops. That's because all the canister like bullets that hit the stakes disappear when they hit the stakes. So it kind of just ruins the lower part of the canister shot. So it's really going over the heads. I do have this mod for the sound, and it's a really good mod. It makes the muskets sound like real. And I think he turned off fire at will here. Or he did. They just are volleying. I don't know why they're volleying. Volleying. I don't know why I said volleying. Yeah, nothing really happening in the center. Prussians, they're sending some reinforcing grenadiers. Or are they just holding there? Yeah, they're just holding there. Nothing really else. He is flanking. He has a nice flank on the Jaeger. That's the real problem. I don't know what Austria was thinking, bringing in all these lights. I guess he said he wanted to test it, but I feel like he was just a newer player. And like, I mean, he could have been testing it. I don't know. But he could have just been a newer player, like, he saw that they had longer range and just decided to get them, a bunch of them, instead of line infantry. But yeah, he's gonna a nice volley on them. The Prussians have a pretty cool flag, and they're just walking. And he is charging. I don't know what he's doing, because these are rifles. They don't have bayonets, but to you your own, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you can see they're gonna rout. He's charging in more troops, and the British ally sees this, and he moves his line infantry because he knows this is a huge mistake. You can see they've already shattered one of the rifle units. Still have some rockets coming overhead. I think the general. Where's the general? He just used an ability, I'm pretty sure. Could have been the French general. No, the French general was back there. I don't know what that was, but yeah, one general used his ability. It could have been the Austrian general. Yeah, the Prussians are just kind of staggering here. He has some Freikorps. He could get a nice charge on the artillery, because all that's guarding it is Jaeger, but I don't think he's going to. A big mistake. He's charging some Lightfoot. I don't know what he's doing. They could just stop firing at them and fire at the Freikorps. And yeah, the British. He's gonna he's gonna get them out of there. And the Austrians are right here. And there they go. And they're gonna run right into the stakes as well. That's gonna take out a lot of them. So yeah, great play by the British and the Austrians together. And now the Cav is gonna, yeah, they're gonna rout. But the he did take out a lot of the Lightfoot. You have to give him that. But yeah, there goes the Cav. And now Prussia, they've just like cut their army in half. And then sent, or like they cut their army into thirds and sent 1/3 up to die. And now they only have 2/3 of their army. So let's see if he can pull this out. I don't know why he's advancing now. Because he could easily fall back. If they had good communication, they could fall back to like this center area. Or even this flank, and they could just corner camp. Like nothing's stopping them from just forming a defense in this area. It would be a huge defense, and it'd be hard for us to push because they could just have lines and lines of troops and just have the first line fire at will, and then once they take out the first line, turn on fire at will for the second line, and just have that going back until like they have their elites farther back, and eventually like their general, and they have like artillery right here. That'd be a pretty good move, but they're not gonna do that right now. They don't need to. His rockets, they've lost both rocket units have lost 3 out of 4 of their rockets, so now he only has 2 rockets left. I think the Prussians do have some rockets though. Yeah. So it should be a pretty, it's still pretty even. The Prussians have taken a lot of casualties, but on this side, I think we might have missed. No, just a little bit of mind games. I'm deploying stakes. I've pushed up some foot over here just to like tell them, hey, I'm still here. Don't think I don't see you. Like, yeah, and they're gonna fall back out of there. Let's look at this. The British moving up some rifles, or he's falling them back. Yeah, he's falling them back. Just a huge long line, and it's a solid line. Like, he is getting some friendly fire with his lights on the British. Yeah, that's all friendly fire. Yeah, all of that is friendly fire. And the British notice, and they're gonna fall back. But geez, yeah, they're still getting friendly fire. Yeah. So the rifles are falling back, and these guys, they should be playing aggressive, but our plan going into this was I need to hold over here and just slowly chip away at the French, because the rifles outrange all other lights on the French. The French don't have any lights that match or even outmatch the range of the British rifles. So all I need to do is just slowly chip away at his army, just kite them. That's what I need to do. But kiting requires a lot of micro, which means I can't focus on moving my infantry up because I'll just be kiting them the entire time with my lights. And he does have this artillery, which I'm not too worried about, because, I mean, yes, it is damaging my army, but we also have a lot of artillery damaging their reinforcements. Like, you can see, like, where has the artillery on this side been shooting? I don't know, actually. It's been shooting here. Like, they've taken out a lot of these cannons. So, Austrians pretty thinned out. They took a lot of casualties there, but the Prussians took more, I feel like. number-wise, they didn't, but the Prussians have less troops. Or the Austrians have less troops. And the Prussians have more. So, I feel like the Prussians have really lost that one. Nothing really happening. We can go over to this side. Might just want to fast forward it a little bit. We do have some lights pushing up on this side. We can go ahead and do normal speed in a few seconds. My rifles are hidden right now, which is good, because he's just gonna see the stakes. And I mean, he probably does know that they're there, but still he can't really see them. And you can see I'm moving my army up, but this is like, I still have my elites, and I am gonna fall most of this back. Okay, we can go ahead and do normal speed, because my rifles are about to be in range. Let's go ahead and watch this. I'm gonna push them up, and there's no need for me to be sitting back here because he has the artillery to really outmatch my forces. I can't sit back. I have to play aggressive because I don't have artillery. That's another reason I was playing aggressive, because I don't have anything to sit back, and I can't contribute sitting back. Although I can contribute pushing hard. And you can see here, I'm forcing his ally. Eventually, I don't know what his ally was doing. He was just being, just like, it was like he was I can't speak. It was almost like he was AFK, because his troops just sat here for a while, not doing much. And now the Prussians are really, like, thinned out. They do have a force, they still have a presence here, but a big part of this fight is going to be this force right here, this center clash. They're kind of playing mind games right now. Let's see, are we about to get a volley? They are moving up, yes we are. And I'm just keeping my infantry here to just guard them, to just guard the rifles in case they do have a quick cav charge that I can't counter. Okay, I'm moving them up to get them in range. This is a pretty far range, and he's moving out of there. But I'm trying to play like some mind games with him. So I've turned off fire at will here. So he thinks he's out of range of my troops. Then I'm going to push them up. And then turn on fire at will. But it means my troops are closer than they usually, like, than their max range. And are they ever going to open fire? And there we go. We get a nice volley on his lights, and I need to take out his lights. His lights are gonna be like a pretty big pain, because we do outnumber him in lights, but his army he's not really facing much because he's not playing aggressive. The Prussians over here were playing aggressive, and his allies don't have any lights. So if we can take advantage of that. The Prussians did have lights, but they all broke. They only have 20 lights left out of, like, what, 4 regiments of 80? So I think the French over here do have a few lights. Ignore that. That's just a glitch. Once it gets to 20 minutes, or 40 minutes, I mean, they're like, it's basically telling you need to start playing aggressive. I do get a charge off here, but to no avail. He bayonet charges, takes out that unit, and that's most of my cav except 1 unit left gone. I shouldn't have done that. I should have used my cav defensively, because later on in the battle, you'll see I'll kind of need it. But still just slowly wearing down his forces. He is moving his lights up to get in range of, I'm gonna fall back a little bit. And he doesn't really get a volley off. I think he's trying to kite me, but he can't, because I've range to like here, I'm pretty sure. His artillery and his line are just out of range of my troops. We have a little bit of an engagement over here, just like, I think these forces were, what's that? They were just, caught off guard and trapped, kind of. Now, the British are sending some reinforcements to try and help them. And I feel like if the Austrians really wanted to contribute to the battle, they would have at least brought, like, some elites, you know? Like, brought some grenadiers or something, just to help. Over here, you can see I'm pushing up. And I do this, I told my troops not to fire. Or I turned off fire at will. And I pushed up. You'll see it eventually. I'll push up and I'll turn off fire at will. And I can get a nice volley on his troops. That's really what I want to do. And you can see my rifles, even the bullets like went over the heads of these troops and it hit some of the French line infantry. And that's really what I need. I need as many free casualties towards it, or as many free kills as possible. You can see here I'm opening up fire. And they're about to rout. They're so close to routing. Are they gonna rout? Are we gonna be able to rout them? Come on. They're shaken now. They're not wavering. And it looks like we're not going to be able to. Oh, here's where I turned off fire at will, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I turned off fire at will. And they're all like moving their guns, or like they're all moving their hands on that one part of the gun for so long. Here's where I turned off fire at will, but he moved up aggressively, so I had to turn it back on before we could really get a volley. These guys I turned off fire at will with. And these guys, yeah, you can see I turned off fire at will, so they're like not shooting. Or they are, I don't know. These guys were really glitched out, and he's gonna try and bayonet charge. I think these guys eventually realized they might want to shoot. You know, and yeah, there they go. We get a nice volley, we take out a lot of them. And yeah, their charge isn't gonna last long, and if they've taken casualties like that. But out of nowhere, he charges some dragoons in, and I was not expecting this. Now, he's gonna charge the backs of his own men, and he pushes hard through my forces. His Fusiliers do rout, but my rifles have taken a lot of casualties recently because of that. That's gonna hurt their morale. Over here, nothing really happening. We just have like, they're just like testing each other out, kind of. Testing the water, seeing what each other have in terms of forces. These dragoons are doing really well. You can see I'm trying to get my, oh, no, that's my ally. He's moving some forces over here, and I'm falling my rifles back out of there. You can see I'm charging this infantry in, and he just manages to escape. But that's good for me. He could have kept on fighting, and he would have easily taken out this regiment, and he still could have fallen back. He gets a nice hit with the artillery. But now my troops can line up and get some revenge. And now he's moving up some more cav, but he's just gonna stay there. Over on this side, Nothing really happening, just we killed the Prussian general. Yeah, the British charged in some cav. Nice use of the British cav. I think they were the light dragoons. But the hussars are gonna come in behind them. And the cav, while the cav is gonna break, they did kill the general. So that's good. We have the French. I don't know what this French army is doing. He's really just standing here, and he's not taking that many casualties because I'm pretty sure there's like a hill form. Like right here, there's like a little bit of a slope, so all the artillery shots are missing, and they're hitting that hill. They're just bouncing off. So really, he's kind of letting us focus down his forces. You can see here the French are falling back. I am moving up aggressively, and I'm moving my reinforcements to the spot, to the what are these called? The stakes. Sorry. I'm falling back this depleted unit of foot, and I'm moving in a fresh new unit, and you can see I'm moving the rifles that were over here because he's falling back on this side. I don't really see a threat on this side, so I'm going to move these rifles over to help my new unit of foot. We killed another general. It's the enemy British general. Is that correct? Yes. I think it was an artillery piece that went over the head of the infantry. And still just standing here letting the artillery shell them, but the artillery isn't doing that good. They did get one kill on the chasseur, but that's really it. But they did break the cannons and the rockets, so that's good for us. Over here, just more skirmishing, kind of. I am opening fire. He's pushing his young guard, and they're just sitting there taking my rifle shots. I'm just, again, just skirmishing them down as much as possible before the inevitable line battle comes. I'm moving a few of my reinforcements up, trying to get them away from this side. I do have my cav still back here. They're taken half casualties. They've lost half their men just because of the artillery. These guys are out of formation because of the artillery. The rifles, they are skirmishing down these lights. They're taking a lot of casualties on this side. The Young Guard especially, they've taken a lot of casualties. Nice artillery hit there. Really, I'm just trying to buy time for my allies to use their artillery. I think it was about right now that the French guy, I think he crashed or he lagged out or something because he left for a while. But he wasn't gone for too long. We did manage to he did manage to rejoin, but for a while he was gone, so we were down in that area. But he was only gone for like 10 minutes though, but that's still a long time in this battle. In the beginning stages, near the end, that's not that much time because like stuff happens so quickly. But in the beginning stages, that's a lot of time. Like, that's a lot of forces, that's a lot of fighting and forces lost. Now, in Napoleonic Total War 3, it's also not that much time, but still. That's a mod for Napoleon Total War, if you don't know. It basically makes it more realistic. The Austrians still have a good amount of their artillery. They have not 5 cannons, 9 cannons, which is still pretty good. They're just shelling them. On this side, the French are moving up. I think I don't think he left right now, but later on he'll have left for a while. But he did join back. He's charging in more cav, and I'm running my foot up, and I'm holding fire until the last second. Oh no, we missed the cav charge, I think. Yeah, there was a cav charge where he charged a unit of cav in, but we instantly routed them. Let's see if we can find the remaining guys. No, I think they all died. I think we killed all of them. Yeah, but he charged 2 of the most elite cav, the Empress Dragoons and the Carabiners, and I'm just like melee charging my foot to just try and help my rifles. Again, my rifles are taking a lot of casualties here, and I'm gonna get my rifles out of there, but they just don't make it and they rout. But I've got some rifles back here to try and just like snipe out a few of the horses, and we do get to do that. But he is moving up some infantry, but my guys managed to get in a line first and fire at them, get a nice volley off there. Then he does get a returning volley, but it's a little bit late, and I'm moving up my rifles to just give the extra 23 men support that is needed in the fight. We do take a few casualties before they get to fire. They are reloading, but it's still intimidating them, breaking their morale. And we are getting a few shots off with the rifles. So right here, a really good thing about this is I've been holding the French off for so long with only these 6 units. Well, I guess not including this foot and the rifles that broke. But it's not been that many units. I still have a ton of healthy units. Now, they have taken a few casualties. That's just from artillery, though. But I still have some healthy units. Those are really going to help in the fight later on. I expected this force to die a lot sooner, but I think the French was... This French player was a newer player. So, yeah, it wasn't too bad. And yeah, the French have come back. I think they left right after I said they would leave later. They left and they have returned at a good time, a needed time, because these troops are starting to thin out. We're losing a lot. We're taking a lot of casualties, and these reinforcing lights are gonna help so much. Let's watch one of the volleys. It's pretty epic. The sound, this musket sound mod, it's a really good mod. It's like, it's small, it just adds the sound, it just changes the sound, but it's still really good. Now, if you know how to install the smoke mod that like everybody uses, the Battlefield smoke mod for Napoleon, please comment it down below. I do not know how to install it, and I really want it. When I try to install it, it just, like, I think, look at that, that's glorious. I don't think I'm doing the, user script right, but I've tried a lot of different, like, scripts, and none of them seem to be working. So, please, if you know how to install it and you have it, just like comment down exactly what you put in the user script, and also just comment a link to where you can get the file, because I do know it's on page 27, or not page 27, page 22 of the forums, the Total War Center, I mean. But that link I think it has like a glitch with it or something, because every time I try to install it, I don't know, it could just be me putting the user script in wrong that's affecting it, but I'm not sure. So if you know another way to install it, or if you just you have it installed right and you've done the user script right, just comment how you do the user script, and it would be much appreciated. Back on with the battle. We do have a lot of French forces coming over here to try and reinforce the Prussians, or the British, but the British are really thinning out. The enemy British are about to have a clash in the center. I don't know why he's charging in Lightfoot, or no, he's gonna fall back. I think it was a misclick or something. But the Highland Foot do get a nice volley in the backs of the Lightfoot. The French are sending some reinforcements to help. Over here, I do see this old guard, and I'm charging up my lights, but it's just too late, and he's gonna manage to get out of there alive. The British rifles over here, I think this is where the enemy rifles, they are breaking. And the French have a nice force waiting for these guys to push, just standing there. And these Lightfoot are gonna get a nice volley. Look at that. Like that crossfire on this cav. And they're gonna get to form square, and yeah. The horse guards, the elite cav, are gonna route to some Lightfoot and a lot of volleys. And you can see I'm moving my cav up a little bit closer because I want to be prepared for a cav charge. I'm moving my infantry up even more. My lights, I'm moving them up even more, further up. The French have kind of formed this like surrounding formation. Sorry about that. The game crashed. So, yeah. He's forming up his chasseur on that side of my troops. Yeah, we got a nice formation over here. The French, as I was saying earlier, they're forming this kind of like circle, or like semicircle, this crescent. I don't know why he's doing that. He's moving up some lights, but my lights should be able to take them on. Although he does outnumber them, so that's why I'm trying to move them up to get my infantry in range. Honestly, I should have just fallen back. But I'm moving, you can see now I'm moving up. I'm moving up these, I don't think I'm gonna move these guys up right now. I think in a second I'll move them up, but not at the current time because I have to micro over here and just get ready to fall back because I know I'm going to need to fall back. And I'm moving my fencibles up over here, and he's going, looks like he's going to be going in for a cav charge with his general. He's got him pretty close. I don't know why else he'd have his general really close. I'm firing. I have a nice, and there he is, the general charging in. He's also got a nice healthy regiment of lancers coming in behind them, and I'm going to try and run out of there. And my fencibles are just walking slowly, and this is a really big mistake. He does charge the back of his own men, which depletes them a little bit, but yeah, he gets a nice charge on my foot, and that's going to be the end of them. My fencibles, they're still walking. I'm telling them to run, but they keep stopping and like walking. They should hopefully be able to form up in time. He is charging this side, so I'm gonna fall back. Right, that voice crack though. I'm gonna fall back, and there he goes. He has a nice push. He's taking out these two lines right here. But my fencibles are going to be able to line up and get a volley. And there we go. Nice. I do have my King German Legion Lightfoot firing at the flanks of the old guard. The flank of the old guard. They have to reload. He's making a big mistake charging this way. Look at that, the stakes there. Now, I see this moment, and I see that there's some old guard, and I know he's gonna be focused. His micro is gonna be focusing on this side a lot because he's got a huge charge, and I'm gonna use that to my advantage. I don't need to really repel this charge. He can charge all he wants. Now, I just managed to stop my dragoons before these stakes, and I'm gonna walk them through the stakes so they won't die. But in Napoleon, they do die when you walk them into the stakes, and they shouldn't. It's happened before. Like, I've walked through stakes and they've been fine, but apparently this time it wasn't the case. So now my cav, I've just lost my cav to a stupid, like, glitch, I guess. And now, right here, I know I need to fall back. I tell my allies that I need reinforcements. Then I look over to this side to see if they're, like, almost done with the fight, and I realize it's over. And I'm gonna fall back. And I do get a little bit of friendly fire, but I'm also shooting at his cav. Or that's my ally, actually. That's not me, but he might get a little bit of friendly fire, but he's shooting at their cav. I am pushing my troops up, because this foot unit was, like, far behind, and I didn't see it for a while. So, yeah. We have some fencibles holding the right flank. And right here we're planning basically like the end of the battle. So we probably can time warp just a little bit. I'm just falling back, and me and my allies, we realize we don't have to, like, look at this. This is a clear advantage. The balance of power is in our favor. So all we really need to do, we got a nice hit with the artillery, is just to sit back, kind of, or I need to sit back, excuse me, and let my allies push around the flank, because they're surrounded, or they're about to be surrounded. Like, look at this, you can see my allies are moving, or basically charging south, kind of, and slowly moving this way. So I just need to keep on falling back and just not commit to that fight, because there's no point in doing that. I'm just gonna die. I'm just gonna lose all my troops and then not get that much out of that. Now, he is falling his old guard back. I think that's enemy old guard. I think they were getting a little bit too aggressive there. My ally, he does have some horse artillery moving up. He could probably set them up on this hill. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and get a nice position on them. His artillery is still focusing my troops, which I was fine with, because if it means he's not focusing down these troops, they have a clear push. They can just push as much as they want, and not be met with a force until they reach the lines, which means they've basically given up on all this ground, which, I mean, they couldn't probably be able to hold that territory anyways, because then they'd be stretched out so thin. But they have kind of lost this area. Now his old guard over on this right flank were exhausted. Now they're very tired. We can go ahead and do some normal speed, because right here I'm pushing up, and we can time warp a little bit. Let's see. Yes, I am pushing up, in fact. So we get a nice zoom in, a nice cinematic of the ground starting to move. You can slowly, on this side, you can see it. Kind of. You can see, like, not really, but here you go. You can, on this side, you can end on this side. The trees were blocking the flag. But you can slowly just see. Let's wait for it. Should be about right now. You can see it, some of it there. There we go. We've got the tip of a musket. Oh, we have the flag. Oh, that's epic. Oh, I'm screenshotting that. That's a glorious. And then you just have the troops moving up over the hill. And I'd be scared if I were a French soldier. I mean, look at the mini-map. It's hilarious how many, like... Now, he's gonna set up a force right here. I'm not really sure about the French tactics at the time. I don't think... I don't think you're supposed to... Poor little Jim there. No, Jim. No! Oh, it just went over his head. What is this? What? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I'm not sure about the French tactics at the time, but I think they were better than that. I'm not sure. We have a little bit of a sunken road here. Civil War. Hey, it could be a civil war. France versus France. Great Britain versus Great Britain. Could be a civil war. Now, honestly, if I were the French here, I would have had a stronger force on this side. Because I still have a pretty decent sized force, but I mean, I do get it. There's a lot of troops here. But he kind of like forgot about me. But right now, he shouldn't be too worried about me, but like he should. But I am also not pushing up that like hard. I am running my troops up, but they are out of range, so he doesn't need to focus his micro on that side. Yeah. They're just missing like one wrong move of this wheel, and Jim is toast. Yeah, but I'm pushing hard. I do have the most depleted force in the center. I don't know why I do, but I do. Probably shouldn't have done that, but you know what? Not too much of a worry. The French, my French ally, he is pushing up some lights to skirmish down, but they have some lights to counter them, but they do outnumber these lights heavily. It's just the French are so depleted, like a lot of their lights especially are depleted. Their infantry not that much, but they just don't have that many regiments. Their cav is depleted because a lot of their cav kind of mindlessly charged their cav in. I'm getting my troops really close, but they aren't in range just yet. I turn off fire at will here because I want to get really close. I want to get like right in front of them before I fire, and I think I'm going to fire right here. Am I? No, I'm going to push up even more. He gets a nice volley, but I'm going to give him back the favor, return the favor. There we go. Look at that line of flashes. And yeah, instantly their morale is suffering. These guys are shaken. And these guys are broken. There they go. These guys are wavering, or they're about to. They're steady. They're shaken. And the command was given to charge. I am just running my troops behind their lines, but since they don't have a solid line, I am going to have to move like my forces to charge. But we have the Coldstream Guard right here. Let's watch as they fight the artillery. The men standing in front of the cannon. He's charging in his... A lot of the forces that met me on this side were just artillery crew. I feel like if he couldn't commit forces, he should have fallen back. If he couldn't commit forces to that flank, he could have fallen back and only had to really commit forces to one side to just have a glorious last stand. But this is less glorious than it more is just kind of sad. Because he's using artillery crew to hold me off. He does have a cav unit. What is artillery? Getting a little bit of friendly fire on my troops. He does charge my Coldstream Guard. I'm not too worried. They are the elites of the elites. They should be able to hold a cav charge, even if it is like a pretty bad cav charge. Right here, the Austrians are kind of, and the French are kind of routing. I was worried about that, but not too worried, because, I mean, the British on this side are doing amazing. They've even flanked their cav up all the way back here. Now, this is a losing fight for them, for the British, just because the Carabiners are so good against the Dragoons. I say that, but the Dragoons have taken out a lot of them, and I mean, these guys can just turn. They're not even firing. Right? Yeah, these guys aren't firing. He can just form square right here, but I think he was focused on another part of the battle, but still. Even if they charge in here, yep, there he goes. He's gonna form square. And now they are exhausted. But yeah, he's gonna mindlessly charge in. I think he like charged and then focused somewhere else. But yeah, that's really gonna be it for the French. They don't. We can just go ahead and time warp. Just got a bit of Old Guard versus the Coldstream Guard. This is pretty funny, because what happened was they just ended up running side by side for a while. They were both, I gave the commands to charge them, but they wouldn't. But then, yeah, the British general gets a nice charge. I think he does die. Yep, there he goes. The British general does die, but I mean, there's no real loss in that, and we've completely surrounded them. The French do have some chasseurs, but yeah. This is just sad at this point. Just 139 men versus 30 men. These guys are exhausted, and they're still probably about to beat them. Yep, they routed, not even hesitating, and it's just the French Old Guard left, and there they go. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, because I just spent 2 hours trying to record this. Let's check the lost. Who lost the most? The foot, yeah. Who got the most kills? The rifles, obviously. They did really good. That's quite the KD. But yeah, shout out to all the people in this battle. They were great. The other team, they were good sports about losing. Sorry about that. Yeah, anyways, guys, make sure to subscribe for more content. If you want to get notified when I upload, then just turn on notifications. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.